All right, welcome to Obsessed Garage. Let's talk batteries. I don't know why I like batteries so much, but I like collecting them and organizing them and making sure they're all charged, which is not really the right way to treat them. If you go back and watch the series I do with Ben from the Battery Innovation Center, he came down and talked to us about how to charge the battery. That there's a reason why the Tesla only charges to 90%. That 70 to 80% range is the best place to do it. I am one of those people that likes to charge everything up and top it off all the time, which is not the right thing to do. But today we're going to talk a little bit about the M18 lineup of batteries, and there are quite a few more choices in the M18 than there are in the 12-volt version. The M18s also have a different type of cell. So just to remind you, if you're not familiar, there are two types of cells, at least in Milwaukee batteries. I'm sure there's more cell structures coming out in the future. But there's an 18650 style lithium-ion battery. And so think of it, looks like a regular AA battery, just a little bigger. If you tear it apart, there's a winding of lithium, and then there's a gel in between those layers, and that cell has a certain size, and you can see kind of in the makeup or the size of the case, that size. These batteries are laid horizontally right next to each other, and there's multiple rows of them in, like, say, an XC 5.0. These have an 18650, and then there are the wider, slightly taller, higher output 21700 style. Same idea, and you can notice the footprint difference of the two type of batteries. So this CP 3.0 HO, high output. Anytime you see high output from Milwaukee, you know that this has the newer cell. These have the higher capacity 21700 style type. So when you're talking Milwaukee, I'm going to sort of jump ahead here, and I'm skipping some of the like the CP 1.5s, the CP 2.0s. They have some small, light, thin. Usually comes with the non-fuel tools, the brushed tools. I'm not interested in any of those. I don't have any of those in my cabinet. I usually sell those off if there was a tool that only came with that battery. So I'm generally going to start with and use pretty exclusively the XC 5.0. I don't carry the 3.0s, the 4.0s, and the CP 1.5s and CP 2.0s. We don't carry any of those because I don't recommend them. I don't find there's really any reason for them unless you just wanted a cheaper battery. You're going to find that almost all the fuel tools you're going to buy, they're going to come with an XC 5.0. Even some of like the heat gun that we sell comes with a single XC 5.0 as well. So this, again, is your standard battery. They sell these in a 1-pack, they sell it in a 2-pack, they sell it in a 10-pack, I believe. I don't carry the 10-pack. I don't think you really need to buy. We do stock these and then sell them periodically. I don't think you need to buy a lot of these because pretty much every kit, every tool comes with them. If you were going to replace them, I'm going to share with you some of the other versions of the battery that I would suggest. If you had one that went bad after it was out of its 3-year warranty, that you'd simply buy a higher capacity or higher output battery. But this is the standard. This is the one I use the most. This is the one we all have tons of. But the XC 5.0 is the battery that you see on pretty much every Milwaukee tool and every picture. This is their standard regular battery pack. So if we go down and start on a little lower, a little smaller, you can see this is the CP 2.0 that I'm talking about. I wouldn't recommend this battery. It is smaller, it is lighter weight. It is something that if you weren't going to be using your tool a bunch and you just needed something as light as possible on, say, like a little screwdriver or a little 1/4-inch hex impact or something like that, it could make sense. But I would urge you to skip over these and go right to the sort of the minimum battery for me is the CP 3.0. the 3.0 version. This is the high output version. Another little tip here, these actually have more output than I believe an equivalent XC. They say it right on the box here. I think they're comparing it to a smaller XC battery. So the key to the 21700s is that they'll run a little cooler. Another little tip is that if you get the supercharger will charge them a little faster, and I believe you get maximum capacity out of the batteries. It's just more sophisticated charging, more sophisticated circuitry in these as well. And so these particular batteries, I think, are a great option for something like a 1/4-inch hex tool, or something that you're not you need it to be as light as possible, but still want the same output. You're going to get very similar output to an XC 5.0. I'm not 100% sure which tools. It is sort of widely known that these tools are intelligent. There is internal circuitry that can sense heat and capacity of the battery, and so when you do transition or you start using some of the bigger, like XC 6.0 or 8.0s or some of the HD batteries, some of the bigger tools, like I'm fairly certain that the really sophisticated 1-key extended anvil tool, when you throw a high output battery on it, the internal circuitry recognizes that and then dials up a little bit more torque if needed. And a lot of battery issues come with heat. And so heat management is key with pretty much any battery and future performance. So another nice thing about the 3.0, the CP version of the high output battery, is they do sell it in 2-packs, and this is where you get the bang for the buck. So when you buy a 2-pack, you save 25-30% over just buying single batteries. So if your XC battery craps out 3-4 years into its use, I would highly suggest you consider the 3.0 version. We talked about the 5.0. Then you get into the big boys. I think, so you have 6.0, 8.0, and then you have the HDs. Even though the 8.0 8 amp hour battery has a bit more internal capacity, the footprint is the same. So the size of a 6.0 and 8.0 is identical. So the size of these, I want to misspeak here. The size of these is the same. I think that the 6.0 makes more sense, and the main reason for it is you're going to have a hard time noticing the difference in output or in capacity. But the 6.0, they sell it in a 2-pack. The 8.0, they only sell individually. And these get up there, in a couple $100 each range. And so I think the 6.0 buying in 2-packs is the best way to get a hold of these things. Whereas in the 8.0, at least at the time of this video, they don't sell a 2-pack of. So 6.0s are ones that I'm using very often on my, on my bigger tools, like a high torque impact. I'm going to use really often on a, sort of a right angle, or cut off wheel, or something that requires a bit more capacity. Circular saw, the rear handle circular saw. I'll put the high output batteries on, mainly just for capacity, so I can run it all day, or run it for the entire task and not have to swap it. And then the final battery, there's an HD 9.0 and then there's an HD 12.0. And you'll notice it's just written on there, and this will help you. This uses the old cells, this uses the new cells. But the 12.0 is a freaking monster. You can see the size and scale of a battery this size, this capacity versus the little guy. So this I'm using with a table saw. It comes, if you buy the table saw kit, it comes with one of these. I'm going to use this with the miter saw, the big 12-inch bevel saw, miter saw. So something where I'm just going to need to be running all day, cutting trim or Swiss Trax tile or something like that. And capacity on these is pretty significant. And then again, you'll see a benefit by putting this in the supercharger. You'll charge it faster, and then theoretically get higher quality, lower heat transfer while you're charging the battery. But these are, and again, in the hundreds of dollars each range. So to recap, You're going to get tons of XC 5.0s. You'll have plenty of those. I don't think you really need to add that. So if you're looking for my advice, get yourself some 2-packs of some CP 3.0s. Get yourself some 2-packs of some of the XC 6.0s, and I think you'll be really happy. I like to have a battery per tool. And so if I have, like right now I have 44 tools in my cabinet, all 44 have their own battery. So I have 44 batteries. I think I have 46 batteries because I ended up with a couple extras. So that's the M18 line. Get yourself a rapid charger and get the 6-bay rapid charger, which has 3 bays for M12, 3 bays for M18, and then get yourself a supercharger if you start getting into the high output batteries. I always put the HOs on the supercharger and then all my other batteries on the rapid charger. I can charge 3 batteries charged at a time. I can load it up with 8 batteries all at once and really knock out some charging all with those 2 different chargers sitting in my cabinet. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Go to obsessedgarage.com. More Milwaukee information than you can probably digest in a day. As I learn stuff, as I figure stuff out, as I have continued to gain access to the engineers and the people at Milwaukee Direct, you'll be sure that I'll share that with you. Thanks for watching. See you soon.